Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. I'm your host, Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to break down those barriers and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're encouraging you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. We got this. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this special episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Jean-Eva Dickie, and she is here to talk about something really, really special. And we're doing this together in person, sipping some lattes, doing our thing, and having a nice morning chat, which I always love because I think the podcasts always come out better when we get to actually feel the energy in person. So what's up, Jean-Eva?
Not to mention we were laughing for at least 15 minutes before this, just like getting louder and louder and louder. We have a psychotherapist next door.
Oh, I love that.
And she's probably like, what are these girls doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am in the presence of greatness, matchmaking and psychotherapist. This is where I belong.
This is where we fix people.
Yes, I need it. Today we're talking about the gift of adult friendships. And I think this is a really important topic for a couple reasons. Because one, for me, I know I wouldn't be where I am in my business if I hadn't fostered some really important friendships, especially in the last year as I've been in this big growth phase of my life. And also, just like, isn't it nice to have someone who call up and be like, hey, do you want to come over and put on our pajamas and watch some movies and eat nachos, or do like have someone that you can do that with? Of course, my husband is great, but like real other people that are not married to me would also be a gift too.
Mm-hmm. And it's literally something that you cultivate. And I love that you kind of said that because, and you talked about like the change of your life and how cultivating new friendships and maintaining them and investing in them and like continuing on with new friendships as your life evolves. Like, I feel like this was probably a big year for you.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Lots of change with you. and so the friendships kind of adjust based on that too, right? So yeah, I think friendships which is why I do the speed friending, right? Like I realized very quickly being a matchmaker, dating coach, and doing the speed dating and all that stuff that yeah, romantic relationships are important, but friendships are just as important.
Yeah, definitely. And I noticed that too. Like, as you know, I got married young and met my partner really young, and he's awesome. Like, he is my best friend. But I need more.
Yeah.
And it's okay to want more. If you're listening to this and you're like, Jessica, you're so greedy, you want more. Like, you already got a great husband. But like, it's okay to want more, to
and
have
your
more
husband
friendships.
wants you to have more.
Yeah, he does.
Let's get real.
I think he's also had the best year of his life too, because I've left the house a lot more than I normally do. So it's been a growth year for all of us.
Exactly. And it's important to your partner. So I love that we're kind of like on that part, that romantic partner part of it. Like, husbands are great, wives are great, partners are great, but nobody can be your everything and nobody wants to be your everything. They really don't. I know that in like romantic culture, we romanticize that, you know, that they complete me. They're my better half. They're all of these things. And, you know, until I met them, my life wasn't complete. But in real life, that's not true. Like, nobody wants to or should be your everything. You need a community.
Ooh, yeah, mic drop on that one. You need a community. You need people around you. And I brought Jean-Eva in today because she's one of the people that I really connected with over the last year. That's been such a gift and something that has been just like something to propel me forward, not only in business, but in life. Because I don't know if you know this, but Jean-Eva and I are hosting a roller disco night next week. And it was kind of a mash of her speed friending and my socials, a way that we can get women together to just come and hang out and connect and really meet those people. And I wanted to have Jean-Eva on because she has some great tips for how to foster these kinds of relationships. So Jean-Eva, my girl, what would you say to the woman who's sitting at home right now listening to this episode who's just like, I want a friend. I want someone to go to the roller disco with, or I want someone to have coffee with or to go record podcasts with. Like, what would you say to her? What advice would you give to her to find that friend that she's looking for?
And you know what's beautiful is that the advice that I would give to her is the exact same advice I give to a woman who's looking for a romantic partner. They're not going to come through your TV. They're not going to kick down your door. You actually have to put yourself out there in order to meet these people. And also, you know, when it comes to getting and putting yourself out there to meet people, it's the same with romance too, that compatibility in friendship is really rare. You can't just meet another adult who says, yeah, I'm looking for a friend too, and that friendship will work. There has to be energetic compatibility with the person you're choosing to build a friendship with, because that energy has to be complementary. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. It's like a poop, or no, sorry, it's like a fart. If you have to force it, it's not ready, right? And it's the same as like a ship. Wait, not a poop, a fart. I don't know. I think it both applies. It applies to poops and farts. Let's get real. But if you have to force it, it's not right.
It's not right, guys. You know what she's talking about.
And so, yeah, girl, get yourself out there, and like some practical tips. And if we're trying to cultivate anything, whether it's romance or friendship, a social life, or trying to find our purpose or whatever it is, the key is to fill your schedule with interesting events. So get on Eventbrite, get on Facebook, get on Google, get on meetup.com, get on come to a social, you know what I mean? Come to a speed friending, and really kind of like fill up your calendar and look and see what's going on in the city. And go to things that you are specifically interested in. Don't go somewhere where it's like, I think there'll be cool people here. That's kind of who I want to be. Go to things that you are actually interested in. That way you're going to meet your people.
Yeah. I think that's why I started creating these socials, to be like the Bounce and Beers that we went to, and to be, the now roller disco. Like, those are where I'm going to meet my people.
Yeah.
People who go to fun things like roller discos and bowling nights and all of those different things. I might meet my people in a bar, but I think I'd be better suited for the people that I'd meet at an event that I put on, because those are my people. Yeah. Same thing for you, where you have these restaurants that you go to in different locations. Like, those are your people, because that's what you attract.
Yeah.
So like, go to the place where you would want to meet people. I think that's a great tip.
Yeah. And I was actually just recording a video today. So I'm launching my compound dating technique, which we coach 10 women in person every 3 months. We'll do a compound dating technique bootcamp, but I'm turning that into a video piece of content for January 1st. It's launching. Amazing. And so I'm currently recording all of the videos, which, I don't know why I did this to myself, because it's going to be ready by January 1st, but I'm going to die getting there. But, I recorded a video this morning. It's kind of fascinating that we're recording this podcast now, because I was talking about how important to have a purpose in your life is, especially when we're out dating and we're out trying to find romantic partnership. Having your purpose, which is a mechanical way to distract yourself and putting your energy elsewhere. Friendship was a big part of it. So there was 4 examples of purpose that I explained. One was motherhood and parenthood. One was career and business. One was health and fitness and activities. And another one was, really investing in your friendships and being the pillar in that community. And that is a beautiful purpose in life. And when we are able to surround ourselves with amazing people, everything else in our life falls into place, because that energy that we are exuding from those relationships that we have in friendships or family, that is going to, go through our entire life in such a beautiful way. And being very cognizant of who you surround yourself with too. Now, in business, a lot of people say, you are the net worth of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're with broke people, you're going to be broke. If you're surrounding yourself with rich people, you're going to be rich. But I think it's the same when we're talking about positivity, ambition, drive, happiness, kindness, giving back to your community. Who are your people? What do you want to provide to the world? And then surround yourself with those friendships.
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
Because of course, and I love the idea of the money piece too, like surround yourself with those rich people. But I actually do believe the richness comes from that positivity, from that light. Like, those are the people who are going to soak into you. And that's a gift. Yeah. Like, I would rather surround myself with those people who are just like so energetic and so excited and building businesses that they're passionate about and have this love for life that just flows into everything that they do. Like, those are the people that you want. And it takes a lot of work to find them.
Yes.
You're not going to just find them on the street, and you're not just going to find them on an app in your phone. Like, you really have to go out and put yourself in these situations and go to the events. The only thing that I'll say on that too is make sure you're going at your energy level as well. Because for me, as like a projector in human design, I don't have a whole lot of energy. So I used to fill my schedule like crazy with like Bumble BFF dates and different events and weekend things and all this stuff. And I was exhausted. I couldn't keep it up. Yeah. So like, go at your energy pace. So if maybe one event a week or even one event a month is your pace,
totally
go with it. Because there's a really like that person's also going to match that energy. And the same thing too with expectation. If you meet a friend that all of a sudden expects you to be every week doing all these things and all this craziness, like, it's just not going to work.
Can you tell me about the Bumble BFF? How did that go? What is that? I knew that Bumble had like a BFF. I've just never met anybody that's done it. What was that like?
What?
No,
really?
No.
You've never been on Bumble BFF?
No.
Or Bumble networking?
No.
Okay, well, I went on Bumble BFF. Every time I come on the mic, I always have a story about Bumble, don't I? I was on Bumble BFF for a little bit. Glenn and I had moved to Dartmouth, and I can't remember what year this was, but we had moved to Dartmouth. I didn't have a whole lot of friends in the area. We were newly married, and I was like, I'm gonna make some friends. And I went on Bumble BFF, and I matched with some people. Again, got married young, didn't really get a chance to try this whole Bumble thing, so thought it'd be fun. And I went on a few dates. Like, I met some cool people.
I love that you call them dates.
Well, what would they be?
Yeah, I guess it would be dates. You're right.
Maybe
friend dates.
Friend dates. Yeah. They were dates.
Yeah.
Met some people for like nachos and drinks or coffee and things like that. And I just found it exhausting because it was a lot. You're matching with people all the time, so then you're dating a lot, friends.
Yeah.
And it just became like, as much as I was meeting cool people, I was overwhelmed. Wow. So I would put it out there like maybe one date a week next time or something like a little bit lower than what I was doing. But for some reason, I wanted a lot of friends really, really fast. And again, that's not sustainable. So let's go slow. And I met one girl on it. We went to a coffee shop and she was like just very to the point. Like, she was like, I'm not here to talk on Bumble. Like, when do you want to meet up? And I was like, whoa, girl. Okay, slow down.
Oh, my God.
And she actually became a very good friend of mine because she was like, so like she was very good at like just like taking action, whereas I was very nervous already. So it was nice to have that kind of connection with someone through a dating app who just like took charge for me because I was exhausted from doing it. So after I met my one friend, I deleted the app. I was like, I'm good for now. And she's been a very good friend in my life for a long time now. So
it parallels dating so much.
It does.
Because it's interesting how you say like, and I want to talk about compatibility there, is you probably got burnt out with, Bumble so BFF because you were just meeting those people you did not have friendship chemistry with, right? And like, yeah, we know that their pictures are relatively nice, so they look like cool people, and the conversation's okay via text. But it's not until you meet in person that you can tell if you vibe or not, right? And so when you go on all of these friend dates or even like dates from Bumble, like actual dates, and you're not vibing with these people, you get burnt out fast, right? Because that energy, like we just had an event of 300 singles in the room.
Damn, girl.
Someone walks into that, 300 singles, they're only going to jive with like 3 to 5. Like, let's get real. Like, actually fully jive with, whether it's in friendships or in romance, out of 300, right? So if we're going out one-on-one with these people that we haven't met in person, we don't know if it's there. Burnout is a definite thing.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
That is. I guess that's why it's so great to be able to go to an event like a singles meetup or a social or speed friending, because you do get the opportunity to meet a good handful of great people and see if you drive with anyone in person rather than like all these single dates that I went on to find friends, because it was exhausting. It was just like every night I was like, I want to sit home in my PJs, but like you can't invite a stranger to your house in your PJs. I don't know, maybe you can, but I didn't want to do that. So it's just like,
that ain't the BFF that you want.
It's like, hey, you want to come over? But it's interesting. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort. So going to these events is so key.
Yeah, I agree. In-person events. And one thing I always want to talk about around friendship too, because, you were saying over the last year that it was a big year for you and lots of growth. And over the last 5 years for me has been a lot of growth. And I kind of want to talk about that it's okay to cut people out of your life.
Yeah. I made a little list of the things we wanted to talk about, and I wrote on this one, cut a bitch.
Cut a bit. Snip, snip, mo. I was going to say mofu. Mofu. But yeah, cut a bitch. And it's okay.
Even if she's not a bitch. Like, even if she's a kind person and you're just not jiving, you can still cut her.
Yeah.
How does someone do that? And what would someone be, how would they like get to that point where maybe they just want to cut some friendships out of their life?
Gosh, I think it's different for everybody. Sometimes it can just be a slow fade, and they are picking up on that energy and it just slowly fades and you both just kind of grow apart. And it's okay to let that go. I know it's hurtful for you and probably for them too, because you have so much shared interest and so much time invested in one another that to feel that friendship growing apart can be quite painful. But just being okay with the fact that that was there for a season, not the life, right? And, you know, they might turn around and come back later on, right? And that's okay. So the gentle fade could be a thing. Or I had a really good friend, and when I started in business, I was a server and I was working and I was broke. I was so broke when I started this business. I was working as a server and doing this in the evening. And like every Saturday was when I made my money. Friday nights and Saturday nights, I was a server. And that's when she wanted to do things. She's like, you're always working. When can we hang out? When can we do this? And I'm trying to build business. I'm trying to invest in this. I'm trying to build a future for myself. And it was that all the time. And there was guilt trips. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. And I actually did send her a message. I was like, you know what? I think that this friendship is over. You know, we might come back later on down the road, but I think at this point I need to focus on me because, you know, I can't take off a Saturday. I can't take off a Friday. And if you don't understand that and you can't hold space for me there, I don't know if there's anything we can do here. Right. And it sucked. And I still think about her all the time because we had a lot of time invested and she would literally give somebody, especially me, the shirt off of her back to give and give and give. But that friendship unfortunately just ran its time and I was, you know, going into a different life and it sucks and I think about her all the time, but it kind of had to happen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so how do you heal even too in something like that, like a friend breakup?
I don't know. It's just time, obviously. Like, because you miss so much of it. And I think I was missing the habits and the time we spent together. And like when you are alone, you always had that one person to call up. And I remember it was almost like a breakup because like when it was the lonely Sunday nights, I wanted to call her. I wanted to hang out with her. I wanted to do those things. So it was like a romantic breakup that I was breaking up with this friend. But I knew in the long run, I had to invest in my future. And I know it sounds really selfish, but I had to do that in order to just stay sane through all that the life brought me. And I'm kind of glad thinking back now on her and that relationship that it did cut off there because it would have gotten a lot worse. Mm-hmm. It would have gotten nasty if I didn't cut it off there. It would have exploded in a different way. So I think it was a kinder way for me to do it that way, but it wasn't fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And over the last 5 years too, because obviously you should see Jean-Eva right now. She's a vision. She looks great. She's come so far in 5 years. And how have you created relationships and friendships in these last 5 years too that were kind of built around the life that you're building?
Yeah. It's kind of flowed a lot more now. So my friendships now are very liquid and very fluid in a beautiful way. So the reason that I think that was such a hard breakup is because we were friends since my first year of university. So that was like a full decade that we had together, maybe even more than a decade, maybe 12 or 13 years. And so I was investing in that friendship because of time invested. Mm-hmm. But that is and I know that, you know, there's friendships where that is the case, but now everything very much flows. And my best friend now, she's a business builder too. And she and I are in the office together most days. And we're not even talking. We're just working on our computers, building business together. And so that is just a more compatible friendship than what I had with this beautiful person for the new season of my life. And then the friendships that are kind of coming in and out now, they're all very, very liquid because they're doing really cool and interesting things. And so they flow in, they flow out, they come back, they leave. And that's okay because also, you know, I have the ability to go out and make new friends and make new connections. And I have that skill now too, that I'm not fully attached to that one kind of like therapy friendship. That's like the comfort blanket friendship, right? Mm-hmm. But also at the same time, I've been that person that has reflected back and I'm not friends with anybody from childhood. I'm not friends with anybody from high school. Yes, if something happened and they turned to me, obviously I would be there and vice versa. But I've never been that person that has had long-term friendships. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are the same way. It doesn't mean that I don't know how to build those relationships and cultivate relationships and that there's anything wrong with us. That just happens to be the life that I live, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay too. So I don't know. I think you just make it what you want it to be.
I love that. And I think too, like as someone, I have both. So I do have friendships from young age. I have my best friend who I met in the 7th grade, and she's been with me even now as she goes through transitions of having children and going through this. Like I've never felt like an outsider as the person who doesn't have kids or the person that doesn't want kids. And that's been a wonderful relationship, but that's not the same in all of them. And we talked about too, like time invested doesn't necessarily mean a quality friendship. And of course with this one person, she's like the best. And if she listens to this, shout out girl, I love you. But for the most part, it's not like that with everyone. It's not like that with all the people I had in high school either. There's just a handful that I could keep in my pocket and actually have that compatibility with. And for me, is like I had it and I'm not letting that friendship go because it's just so wonderful to have that compatibility. But that's not the case in all relationships and friendships that we have. So I think it's interesting as I've gone through this period of growth and shifted my business, shifted things in my life over the last really couple years. It's been interesting to see the friendships that come and the friendships that go and the friendships that last and the friendships that don't. And for me, I've never had to experience that like grieving of a friendship like you have, but there has been that fade and awkwardness. And I always feel a lot of guilt around it because I'm just a people pleaser, way too kind. And just like always feel like, oh, well, I should be doing more. I should be showing up more. And, you know, I should go for that coffee date and I should go for this and da-da-da. And you guys know how I feel about the word should. Fuck the shoulds. Like we hate should. But I felt that should in a lot of friendships. Like I should all over every friendship. And I've remembered, one of the key things I always remember is like, if it's not a hell yes, if I don't really want to go, then I shouldn't go. And putting that energy, I don't want to go to things just because I feel like I have to anymore. Like I don't have enough time for that. And it's really important that you have that in the friendships too. Of course, there's things that we're going to have to do that we don't want to do, like go to different birthday parties and stuff that we might not actually want to go to. But remember those moments, like make sure the majority of the things you're wanting to go to, the majority of the things that you're putting into these relationships you want to do, that you like are excited to do, like ugly Christmas sweater party at the roller disco. Like don't come if you actually don't want to come. Like come because you want to come and you want to meet people and you want to have fun and you want to go on skates again. Like it's just important that you're putting that energy in, because also on the other side, people know when you're doing things just because you feel like you should. And that's a shitty feeling to be on the other end of. Like, do not come to one of our events just because you feel like you should. Yeah. Come because you want to, because you're invested in this life that you're building and you're invested in having great friends.
Yeah. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the mechanics of once you're there too, because we can go to these events all day long. Yep. But if we are not, you know, taking a little bit of leadership into organizing the next meeting, leading maybe some texting conversations with those people that you mesh with, and kind of leading that friendship into something, it's far less likely to materialize. You can't just show up, meet people, disappear, and expect to have friends. You have to get the numbers. You have to follow up. You have to lead the next time you're going to see each other. And I actually call it the event circle of life. Like we do this with dating too, is, you know, you fill up your events, like your schedule with events where you're going by yourself. And that's the scariest part. Let's get real. How going to an event by yourself is scary. And then eventually your social life builds momentum. It's like a rolling stone. So once you're meeting all these people and getting these connections at these events, eventually you're going to be starting getting invited out to other events with like-minded people. And it's not going to be this constant feeling of scheduling it in and going and feeling uncomfortable. Like after a couple months, you are going to build momentum with certain people and you're going to start getting invited to barbecues and birthday parties and open mics and all this kind of stuff. And you aren't visiting those websites like LinkedIn or not LinkedIn. Well, yeah, LinkedIn. Well,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a networking event. Exactly. Or meetup.com or Eventbrite. You are then kind of rolling with the momentum of the social life that you built for yourself. But it does take work at the very beginning.
100%. Yeah. And I will say too, like I let my anxiety take over in some of these spaces. No, I do. And I can get myself in there and I can meet a few people and then I'll like stay in that bubble of those couple people. I'm like, okay, I did it. I met some people. Don't you worry, anxiety. I got you beat. But then I'll see someone like really cool across the room and I'll let the anxiety sink in. Like, I can't go introduce myself to that person. They're too cool. Yeah. Like they're too cool for me, which is also what I said when I met my husband, which is quite ironic. But there's power in stepping out of that comfort zone and meeting the really cool person across the room, because there's a reason you're attracted to them. And I feel even emotional saying that, because I've let anxiety take over some really great connections. I've let anxiety win over connecting with incredible people, and that's not okay. Get uncomfortable, go across the room, meet the cool people. One of the rules that I'm going to have at the roller disco, which I didn't tell Jean-Eva about yet, but it's okay, she's on board, is there's going to be no roller skating alone. If you are alone, and of course if you want to skate alone, you do you, girl, like I don't care. But if you see someone skating alone, I want to make sure that someone else is coming up to you, that you're always having those connections. And that's the time when you pull out your phone and you connect on Instagram, or you get phone numbers, or you do those things. Like, don't let yourself walk away from an event without the connections. It's time wasted, right? Of course you can find them later, and I'll do my best to connect you, as will Jean-Eva, but don't walk away from anything without talking to the people you want to talk to and connecting with people you want to connect with, because you don't know what could happen. Yeah. That's how it all starts. Yeah. You might be compatible, you might not, but like, try your best to not let anxiety win. If you need me to bring some like CBD with me or something so you can calm down when you come in the door, I got you, girl. Like, don't worry. But I would do my best to make sure that your anxiety stays at the door when you come in.
And that's an amazing like host perspective too. Like when you're hosting events, which is so cool about you, Jess, is like, okay, I need more friends. What do I do? Oh, I'll host events, you know? Like that is beyond what anybody else would do. Like go to events. That's the first step, right? But you're like, what do I do? I host them. That's what I'm going to do, right? Which is anxiety inducing alone, right?
Of course.
But it's easy. I think it's easier to host events than to attend.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's a lot more work, but I think it, honestly, in the grand scheme of like being social, it's easier. But yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. And like going to the events with the proper hosts are good too. Like if you went to an event and you jive and you're like, wow, that's really well hosted, and like she's clearly keeping an eye out. Like I remember when we first went to dinner, you invited me to that girls' dinner.
That first social, yeah.
Now I'm somebody that hosts events all the time, so I'm on. So I kind of arrive at any event like on. And then you were there and you're like, okay, we're gonna go through introductions, and you were leading it all, and I was like, I instantly just like relaxed, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Aww. Like, and you hosted it so well. Like you made sure everybody was introduced to one another and the conversations got going, and like you led that really well. And I think that's one beautiful thing about all of your events is that they're really well led, and you are thinking about like what it's like arriving at an event by yourself, and you're eliminating all of that from you're getting emotional.
I'm always emotional.
And you're like eliminating all of those what ifs from the very beginning. And that's the sign of an amazing host. Like an amazing host is you're like putting yourself in their perspective, and you're eliminating all of that right from the beginning.
Well, thanks, Jean-Eva. Yeah, I am crying over here. I remember you telling me that after. I thought it was so funny because I sent you a message. I'm like, hey, do you want to come to this dinner? Like a couple of girls, we're getting together. It's going to be my first social. And you were like, yeah, I'll be there. And I was like, really? Okay.
Oh, was I the cool girl from across the room that you were there?
I was just like, you didn't even, just tell me when and where and I'll be there. Like you didn't even need the details. You were just like, I'm there. And I was just like, wow, thank you. Like that actually, for me, I needed that support too, to know that it was something. And then afterwards for you to have that compliment to me, I was just like, thank you. Like it was just like I needed that little bit of validation, that little bit of support to be reminded that these are here for a purpose. And these connections are important, and we're learning things about people. And the dinner was really cool because we could all sit around the table and have this unique conversation. And I am going to be doing more like that. I'm hoping to do another one this December, just because there's something about sharing a meal with people that is such a gift. But you can't have a table of 40 people like that's coming to the roller disco sitting all together. So there's going to be intimate socials, and then there's going to be these bigger ones. And, you know, for everybody who has different styles of meeting people, there's always going to be something. And same with Jean-Eva with her speed friending. They can be a smaller way for you to meet people because you get to have that unique one-on-one time. And I remember going to your event, you said, hey, you should come. And I was like, okay. And world's most awkward person. But
you're really not.
I don't know. There's some people there who thought I was kind of weird, but that's okay. Went to that event, and it was just interesting to have that one-on-one time, to be in the moment with a few people and be able to connect with them. And there's just a gift in that. And it's so uncomfortable to do.
And let's talk about adult friendships.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is a different world altogether. Like, when you're out of university and out of school, where basically everybody wants to be friends.
Yeah, you just get drunk and you make friends like it ain't no thing.
Exactly. But adulthood, making friends is so hard because we've become such actualized humans who know what we like and know what we don't like. And we get into our patterns, we get into our habits. Making friends as adults is hard.
Yeah, and we also a lot of times say we don't have time.
Don't have time.
So we don't make time for friendships. Like, I can't put one more thing on my list. Can't put one more person who needs something from me. But like, it's going to be like one of those mutual beneficial relationships, right? Like something that you can have that two people can get from. So adult friendships are hard.
Yeah.
But like they're a gift if you prioritize them.
Agreed. 100%. And that it's okay to get outside of your habits. So the reason that it's so hard when you're an adult is where are you going to meet new people, right? And like going to the same gas station, the same Starbucks, and going to the same, the same work all day, and then going to the same gym and putting your headphones on and ignoring everybody. Like, yeah, we have to break those habits in order to do it. And that's the hardest part, is breaking those habits, obviously, but it has to be done. And I think we all know that. Anybody that's listening to this and is like invested in like adult friendships, you know all of this that we're saying. It's just putting it into action is a lot of work.
I like that you said work too, like your workplace. I honestly do believe work friends are different than real friends.
And they should be.
Yeah. You can have those friends at work, because I remember when I worked in the office, I had great friendships there. People you were excited to see every day and tell them what you did on the weekend. But that's different from like that genuine friendship that you're going to go have girls' night on Friday night, or you're going to do, something on the weekend that you're actually going to make time in your schedule for. There's a difference in those relationships. And just, I want to remind you of that in case you're like, I don't need no more friends. I got friends at work. Those are different friends. Leave that job and find out who stays. That's
you know what's funny about you saying that is when I first met my boyfriend, he's in the Navy. So I'm like, oh, he's got a bunch of Navy friends, whatever. But then very quickly I found out that his friends, and they have this really beautiful adult friendship friend group. There's like 30 of them.
Whoa, really?
And they're all best friends.
Aww.
It's fascinating. I mean, it revolves around alcohol.
So you're going to have a huge wedding is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, there's got to be a huge wedding. Or a tiny wedding.
Yeah.
Like, there's no in between. It's either going to be huge or tiny. But it was beautiful because, and I said to him, like they're not in the military. They all do their own different thing. And, I was like, why don't you have military friends? He's like, because I don't want to talk about work. I want to talk about nothing. Like, honestly, I just want to hang out with adults and talk about what I cooked the next day. I want to talk about, and it's this, and I found it really hard because my friends were so revolved around business that those were the conversations that we were having. And then when I first met his friends, I'm like, I don't want to talk about what I cooked last night. I don't cook. Or I don't want to talk about like the last time, the last concert. I don't go to concert. Like, I found it really hard at the very beginning to kind of mesh into that group, only because they weren't talking the same things that I was talking. But it's been 2 years now, and they are the most beautiful friendships I have ever seen because they're just there for each other, just to be there, which is so gorgeous. And yeah, I don't know. I just find his friend group is absolutely fascinating.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I always say too, like, I don't like small talk. Like, I don't want to talk about what you had for dinner last night, but you know what? Maybe you do. Maybe the person listening to this is like, you know what? That's actually what I want. Yeah. I talk about deep shit all day. I want to talk about just easy breezy things. And you're going to find those people. You got to put yourself out there to find those people. So maybe you're like Jean-Eva's boyfriend and you want these softer friendships. They're really meaningful and important and great and beautiful. Yeah. Or you're like Jean-Eva and you surround yourself with all these badass women who have businesses who just want to talk about business all the time. You got to find your people. Yeah. It's just like finding your truth and what you like and what you want. It's about finding your people. Yeah. So don't settle if you're not feeling the right, jive in the friendships that you have. Like, find those things, because yeah, I'm like Jean-Eva. I want to talk about some deep shit. I don't always want to talk about simple stuff. And Glenn, who has these friendships too, maybe to him, he thinks this is deep shit. Sorry, baby. But comic books and different video games and hockey cards or whatever. He doesn't actually have hockey cards, but whatever. Those things, he loves to talk about that. He loves to talk about Marvel storylines and what theories are and different podcasts that he listens to. So it's just different. So you got to find the people who have the same interests as you and go with that.
Gotta find your peeps.
Gotta find your peeps. If you want to talk about Marvel movies and comic books, call my husband. He's married though.
Just friendships only.
Friendships only. He's open to friendships. He's going to listen to this and be like, what are you guys talking about?
And then you're like, you have a friendship date tomorrow. Yeah. And he's like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, pretty much. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on with that?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
We did cover everything. The only other thing that I'm going to bring up is that we are giving away 2 tickets to the roller disco night.
So exciting.
Which is December 1st here in Halifax at the Upshaw's Roller Dome at 8 p.m. It'll be 2 hours, and there's going to be some amazing women there. It's women only, and we are not going to judge you if you've never been on skates before. We're not going to judge you if you fall on your butt. We're actually probably going to laugh and then help you up. And that's the friendships that we want.
Okay, and here's something I want to talk about Jess's socials is the reason that I was so on board when you invited me to that dinner is because everybody was so unique to themselves. You know how there's that crew, and I've been looking for my crew in the city for quite a bit, that you know you're going to walk into it and you may not have the same similar clothes, your nails might not be done, and you're just going to feel odd. When you invited me, I'm like, these are real solid women who are little goofballs that are going to, you know, love me for who I am. They don't care what I do. They don't care about this. They're just there to make friendships. I do want to say that, like, when we go to these events, like your events, it's so accepting about anything. So if you have any anxiety or any hesitation, it is the most comfortable events ever.
Oh, thank you.
It really is. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I don't care what time. I don't care what, like, I will be there. Like, let me know. It's because your crew is just a beautiful crew. Yeah.
Thank you. Emotional over here again. But I really appreciate that because this podcast is all about speaking your truth. And I want you to have a space where you can come and be you. Nails done or not. My nails are not done.
Yeah.
Hair crazy or not. Mom or not. Business or not. You don't have to have a business to come to these events. You don't have to have kids to come to these events.
Yeah.
You just have to be you.
Yeah.
And you're enough as you are to come to these events in whatever clothes you're wearing. Yeah. Ugly Christmas sweater or not, we will not turn you away. Jean-Eva might turn you away at the door. I won't.
I have 3 ugly Christmas sweaters, and if you don't have one, you are going to be like a toddler, and I'm putting it on you.
We will bring spares just in case you don't have one, but if you don't want to wear one, don't feel the pressure. I want you to come in whatever way you're confident and comfortable and ready to make these great friendships because you're enough exactly as you are to come to these and to connect with some really cool people. And again, the rule is no one's allowed to skate alone. So you will always have someone to skate with, even if you come to this event totally alone.
Yeah. I love it.
So, we're giving away 2 tickets. Head on over to my Instagram or to Jean-Eva's Instagram. You'll have all the information there. So this will start on Thursday. I don't know the dates, but this Thursday...
December
24th. November 24th is when the giveaway is going to start. I'm looking at the date. November 24th is when the giveaway is going to start, and we're going to close it on Sunday, where we will pick a winner for 2 tickets to come to the roller event on December 1st. I'm really excited about it. We still have a few more tickets left for you to be able to snag yours before the event. So grab your ticket and come join us for a roller disco night. Just hang out. Have some fun.
And this is just the beginning, the roller discos.
Oh my gosh.
The beginning.
I went to the roller disco event for my birthday this year, my 32nd birthday, and that's what I wanted to do. And my husband, who is the best, he's like, okay. And he got us some tickets, and we went, and a few of our friends went, and I could have skated all freaking night. I loved it so much. It was so much fun. The music was great. You know, it was just rolling around, doing my thing. And everybody else was like, can we go home now?
Okay, so when I go to the oval and put on actual skates, I can barely make it around an entire loop and my calves are burning. Is it the same with the roller skates?
Well, I don't know about your calves, but I loved it.
Weak little calves. Okay,
well, we got to start working on those. We got a week.
Okay, I'll do 2 loops around the oval.
This is a smaller loop, so the location is a bit smaller than the oval for those in Halifax who are picturing this. So you could probably do like a good amount of loops. And if you're someone who wants to take some breaks, there's benches on the side. There's going to be snacks there. There's anything that you need to do to just kind of like relax and to be there. If you just want to come and sit on the sidelines and talk to people, you can too.
Yeah, totally.
But I think you're going to like it.
Yeah.
And the music that we're picking is going to be fire.
Oh my God, are you doing the playlist?
Oh yeah. I not just me. You're going to help me.
No, I don't like music.
Well, you're going to help me anyway. Or at least have a look over and make sure it looks okay.
Okay, cool.
It'll be a mix of like some good jams, confident boosting jams, and then also some Christmas jams. So we got a little bit of it all.
Cool.
And there'll be a light show. It's going to be super sweet.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I seriously, guys, I love the roller disco. This is my dream event coming to life, so I can't wait.
Oh,
awesome. Okay. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. I think this was fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are so welcome. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
And grab your ticket. I'll put all the information in the show notes, and then also I'll put the links to both of our social media in there, so you can head over to our page and enter the giveaway. Mm-hmm. So we can't wait to see you at the roller disco night.
Yay!
I am so grateful that we could connect today. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with a friend or on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me grow this community and get my message out there. And don't forget, you deserve to embrace your truth. It's time to live life your way.